Here we go.
And can I distribute the 3 pages of information?
Yes, you are. Are you Mr. Thatcher?
I am.
Okay, yeah.
Luck would have it.
Okay. Do we make our decision on this in closed session too?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go over this.
Sir?
We get a kind of a report from the people that did the site, and then he gives any additional information, and we'll go into closed session.
So we're here, we are reopening the hearing. Like the inspection committee to present its report.
Yep.
Like the questions from the BCA, the appellant, and the listers.
Okay. Are there any listers here tonight?
Bob is here, I'm gonna grab him. He's in
Okay.
the office.
Thank you.
This is a new document.
That's a new document. I tried to boil it down to the guidelines. And also included a letter from Land Trust.
Okay, so we're reopening the hearing on the Thatcher Fields property on August 27th at 6:30. And the inspection committee was Tom Kennedy, Phil Hobby, and Andrea Farrington. Do one of you want to just verbalize what happened that you put in your report?
Sure. So the 3 of us went to the residence. Mr. Fields was kind enough to show us around his properties. So we looked at 3 different buildings, the main house, the barn, and then the secondary home. I don't know how to characterize it. We had the lister card with us, and it appeared that things that were on the lister card were consistent with what we witnessed during our site visit.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's as stated in the report. It appeared to us that Mr. Fields' issue, it doesn't necessarily revolve around necessarily the evaluation on a lister card, but a separate issue regarding the secondary building and how it's being characterized by the listers.
Okay. And Mr. Fields, you passed around this statement. Is there any new information here? Is it, you said this is just a boiled down version of what you've already submitted?
Well, I think it's worth looking at the town appraisal guidelines, which I pulled out, which are applicable to this issue. So if you go to the bottom of the first page, you'll see that there are a few bullet points there. And I'm happy to read them, or everybody can read them on their own, whatever you prefer.
Does anyone on the BCA have any questions about the inspection report, or, yeah?
I just have one question, ties into the inspection report, some of the first meeting and whatnot. The term building lot and subdivision seemed to be thrown around quite a bit interchangeably last time. And I just want to make sure like everyone's level set on like, the town isn't, to my knowledge, and I'm just going to put myself out there, so please correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. The town has not subdivided any of your property by classifying a building lot. So it might have just been, just as words get flung around there, but I didn't want there to be some confusion amongst the group that like a subdivision has occurred at your property versus a building lot being designated.
Not in a legal sense, but if you look at the town guidelines for the appraisal or assessment. It talks about the highest and best use, and considerations include, but are not limited to. Is it easy and logical to subdivide the parcel? So I mean, subdivision and building lot, they're intertwined in the town's assessment guidelines. And my whole point here is if you read the guidelines for Hartland on the assessment, it's very clear that a second building lot is not applicable in the case of my property, because were you to subdivide, and again, I'm using the terms interchangeably as the guidelines do, were you to subdivide and sell the cabin on my property along with the barn to one buyer, and the house on my property and the mill on my property to another buyer, the sum of those two transactions would be less than if you were to sell the entire parcel to a single buyer as one piece.
So,
And I mean, where it says here, again for the town guidelines, multiple building lots / house sites on one parcel. So that's the header. For parcels over 2 acres, I have 4 acres. With multiple dwellings, I have multiple dwellings. The property will be considered for multiple building lots based on highest and best use. Considerations included, but not limited to. Is it easy or logical to subdivide the parcel without creating lots of undesirable or odd shapes? Again, we could probably create 2 rectangles. Is there more than 2 acres of improved land, such as with estate-type properties, where an additional building lot site would be appropriate to achieve fair market value of the property? And again, subdividing is going the wrong direction, as indicated by this letter I've attached from Landvest on this issue. Yes?
so now my question is to Bob. Do the wording of this, as you mentioned, is kind of foggy here, but to play devil's advocate and look at the other side of this, is this saying that for parcels over 2 acres with multiple dwellings, property will be considered for multiple building lots based on, is it saying a second building lot would not be, I guess the question here, is a second building lot specified when there is no building there? Is that what the guidelines are saying? Like a second, like you have 4 acres, you have 6 acres, there's a house on site. Is this saying that assessment is not going to also assign other potential building lots on that property?
No.
Or there's a house or a dwelling here, and it requires a building lot because it's a dwelling, regardless if it's a state-type property or not. So that's where I'm kind of need my clarification as well.
It's simple here because I have 2 dwellings on my property, so we could table the whole issue as to if I had 10 acres, would that be 5 building lots? That's not what we're arguing about here.
But you're saying you have 10 acres, so let's make...
I'm saying I have 4 acres.
But you're...
excluded land.
Right, but in example, so you have 10 acres, that means we can make 5 2-acre building lots. Go ahead, Bob, do it. I don't think that's necessarily representing what the guidelines are saying in how I'm interpreting. So I'm trying to also tease it out with you.
I'm totally in agreement with you.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is, if you read the guidelines here, and it starts with, all land will be assigned a building / house lot. A building lot / house site value unless, so here are all the exclusions, and I claim I'm under one of the exclusions. And the first exclusion is the highest and best use would not, capital N, capital O, capital T, include a building lot. And as you can see from this Landvest letter attached here, as well as my closing argument, the highest and best use of my land is not to subdivide it and not to create 2 building lots. So I think I sailed right through this exclusion.
Yeah, please, yeah.
So, these are matters of opinion based on what the assessor said. done in the past. A building lot is one of the metrics we use to evaluate a piece of property. And that what you have there could be subdivided.
Oh, sure.
And that's, I think, the main point. Your conjecture is it would lower the cost of the property if you sold them separately like that. And that's a matter of opinion.
Right, and I have an opinion here from an outside expert, Land Vest,
Well,
saying no.
yeah, and let me say point two, which I tried to make the first time around. In the end of the day, we're not talking about the metrics we use to evaluate a piece of property. In the end of the day, is the assessment fair and equitable and right? So if we use various metrics, that's one we've used here. If we decided, well, let's not use it, I'm just saying, for instance, this is not what we do, but if we said, well, let's not use a building lot, then we have to try to make other arguments to make the assessment to be fair and equitable. But building lot is a common way to do it. If a property has two houses on it, and there is a building lot assigned to those houses, of course, and if they can be subdivided, which is the case here, to your point, it's a matter of opinion. No, I wouldn't say it necessarily would be an improvement per se, but it could be done. It's a metric we use. And so at the end of the day, I gave a list of these, assessments. If you think the assessment is too high, let's talk about that. But a building lot and say, well, you shouldn't use a building lot, that's something that's up to the assessor.
I'm just trying to follow the guidelines, that's all I'm trying to do.
It's not clear to me why Mr. Fields is here talking about the thing we talked about a month ago. I thought we were here to receive the inspection report and eventually discuss it and make a decision. I'm not sure why you're re-presenting your case. Is that the way we normally do this?
No.
I didn't think so.
Clyde?
I believe it's state statute that if you have two dwellings on a property, even though you own both, 2 acres is allocated to each house as a house site, because we have unlanded houses in town that have to have 2 acres allocated as a house site. Also, with this case, there is a natural subdivision in the property anyway with a public highway between the 2 dwellings.
Well, no, I believe the 2 dwellings are on the one side.
No, they're on separate sides of a town road.
Oh, in that case. Oh.
John?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I guess the question again, getting back to, the words we're using, right? I mean, we could use building lot and subdivision interchangeably, but if we're all not on the same page with what we mean by those words, and we could just be confusing each other. So like I go to your letter and it says, Land Vest was asked to offer an opinion as to whether the value of the above property should be looked at as 2 separate residential parcels. I don't think Bob's created 2 residential separate parcels on the property though, but I'm still trying to understand this. I mean, a building lot is not now designated a separate parcel, is it?
No.
It's also contained as one parcel?
All it's saying is it's a metric we use to evaluate a piece of property. And if there's a house on it that's a valid, a house, we put a 2-acre building lot there. It's just the way it's done.
By statute.
And I have final comments from this.
Statute.
This is why the letter from this is a perfect example of why the letter from Land Vest is not a good idea. They're not appraisers. I'm an appraiser, and these guys are not appraisers, and they're not qualified to make this kind of a letter. And it's a perfect example of why they're not qualified. They're using the wrong language when they say subdivision. And it's, they're brokers, and they're apples and oranges. They may be both fruit, but they're not qualified to be making this kind of a letter, and it shouldn't even be in here.
Okay. Are there,
I say that, and I say that as someone who is a professional appraiser.
do any of the other BCA members have any questions before we close the hearing? Because I think We've had the final comments from the appellant and from the listers, so. All right, then we'll close the hearing, and we have, how long? We're gonna have a closed deliberative session. And how long do we have to let Mr. Fields know?
I believe from this date, we are, 15 days.
Okay, and he will receive that in mail, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. I need to get a motion to go into closed session, correct?
We are going into deliberative session.
Deliberative
So
session.
we're gonna,
We have to have a motion for that?
no, I just think it's
Oh, okay,
natural after the case is.
all right.
What